Well, Bullwinkle was really up in the air last time. For in an effort to reach Rocky in creepy old Bleakley House, he sat on their giant mousetrap and fired himself over the wall. Unfortunately, the window he was heading for proved too small for him, and he got stuck fast high above the ground. Meanwhile, inside the house, a dazed Rocky was peering about in the gloom. Suddenly, a huge form appeared in front of him.
Is that you, Bullwinkle? Your teeth are chattering. You got a cold?
But of course, when Rocky struck a match to find his way out, it wasn't Bullwinkle at all. Instead...
Hokey smoke, it's a 6-foot mouse!
And Rocky bravely eluded the clutches of the strange creature, which then began to chase him from room to room of the old mansion. Rocky made a game try, but soon found himself trapped.
Uh-oh, there's no way out of this room. The window's blocked up. Looks like an old mattress.
Little did Rocky know that the old mattress was in reality his pal Bullwinkle, still stuck in the tiny window. Closer and closer came the monstrous mouse, and then suddenly turned away.
Gee, maybe he's leaving.
No such luck. The weird creature was merely getting into position to use its sharp tail as a spear. Straight at Rocky came the sharp point, but at the last second he was able to leap aside. Unfortunately, Bullwinkle wasn't.
No!
Little did he know, but that sharp jab was a blessing in disguise.
Don't worry, I got the point all right.
Inside the mansion, the mouse monster made another backwards lunge at Rocky, and this time, as the agile squirrel slipped out of the way, the pointed tail crashed into the wall.
Rocky, come on out of there!
It's okay, Bullwinkle. I got him caught.
Sure enough, with its tail driven deep into the wall, the enormous creature was stuck fast and couldn't get away. Then, as our boys watched in amazement, the monster's struggle slowed and stopped.
What happened, Rock?
I'm not sure, Bullwinkle, but I think he ran down.
Swell, let's us run out.
But as our heroes started to escape from the house, beady eyes were watching them closely. Then as they went down the hallway...
Looky there, Rock!
Those are paintings of the old Bleakley ancestors, Bullwinkle.
Ancestors?
They sure look alike, don't they?
Yeah, all except that last one.
Bullwinkle, that's a picture of the monster mouse.
Yeah, not very good either.
What do you mean?
It don't look real. It ought to face more this way and... Uh-oh.
Bullwinkle, it is real.
And Bullwinkle snatched his hand away just in time. In another instant, the mouse had disappeared.
Gee, how many of those things are there?
Even one of them is quite a few.
Bullwinkle, this is a secret passageway.
Well, the secret's safe with me. Let's get out of here.
And our boys scrambled through the opening in the wall, but no sooner were they inside than the opening closed behind them.
That sounds awful final.
Sure is dark in here.
Yeah, I can't see my hand in front of my face.
You don't have your hand in front of your face.
Well, I said I couldn't see it.
Look ahead there, Bullwinkle.
Sure enough, at the end of the passage, light shone through a crack in the door.
Sounds like voices in there, Bullwinkle.
Yeah.
Put your ear to the door and listen.
Unfortunately, the only way Bullwinkle could put his ear to the door was to put his antlers through the door, which is just what he did.
Run, Bullwinkle!
I can't. My head bone is stuck.
And in a moment, the door was flung wide, dragging Bullwinkle into the room.
Hokey smoke, Bullwinkle, look!
Well, what dreadful sight has driven the roses from Rocky's cheeks? We'll see next time in Doorway to Danger, or Doom in the Room.
Once upon a time, there was a beautiful but wicked queen. This queen would stand before her mirror for hours admiring herself. It was a very special kind of mirror.
Mirror, mirror, coin machine, am I still the cutest queen?
You're still the best, but wise up fast. Snow White will soon go whizzing past.
Snow White? Where can I find her?
With dwarfs she dwells, those sawed-off mugs. And by the way, stop using slugs.
The queen got a poison apple to take to Snow White, an apple that would make her the victim of sleeping death. In a little while, the queen was approaching the quaint old house of the 7 dwarfs. It wasn't very difficult to find. Inside the house, a plan was taking shape.
That's it, boys. Look sharp. This could be a gold mine, a veritable... Well, welcome to the Seven Dwarfs Health Club. Looks like you got it just in time. Build it up, take it off, make it firm. That's what I always say. A sign here for the lifetime membership. Will you do that?
Wait a minute, wait a minute. Where's Snow White? I've got a little something for her. Soon as she eats it, I'll be the fairest in the land.
Dear lady, did you know that you could be the fairest in the land forever?
Forever? How?
The Seven Dwarfs Health Club, of course.
7 dwarfs. I see only 6. You sure I could stay the fairest?
Come on now. Would I kid a queen?
The vain queen was so desperate to stay the fairest that she signed the contract and gave her crown as payment. Then, one day, several weeks later...
Mirror, mirror, put me straight. Snow White or me? Now who's first rate?
Good kid you are and rather sweet. But Snow White's the one. She's got you beat.
So, once again, the queen got a poison apple and went to the 7 dwarfs' house to find Snow White. But this time, the dwarfs had a brand new enterprise.
Welcome. Welcome to the Seven Dwarfs Dance Studio. Walk in, samba out.
Never mind that. Is Snow White here?
And 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3.
Cut that out! Where's Snow White?
Never heard of her. Put a little fun in your life. Try dancing.
Who's this big guy? I thought you were all dwarfs.
Please, lady. Shh, quiet. He's got grand trouble. It's nothing to laugh at. Now, this is for a lifetime membership to the dance club.
Sure enough, this time the queen traded all her jewels to the dwarfs. And some weeks later...
Mirror, mirror, 1, 2, 3, is there one as fair as me?
Fair at what? Not dancing, pray. Snow White now leads in every way.
The queen was clearly slipping fast.
All right. Where's Snow White?
Will you look at that posture?
That hair. And my dear, those clothes.
No good.
If you want to be the fairest in the land, you'll need a lifetime membership. The Seven Dwarfs Charm School.
Fairest in the land, eh? How much?
At this time, the queen gave the deed to her castle to the dwarfs. So when she returned home, it was to an empty lot.
Mirror, mirror on...
I know. Snow White at the dwarf's place. In that order.
Listen, wiseacre. Snow White isn't at the dwarf's place where you keep sending me.
With dwarfs she dwells and...
All right, I'll show you. See, no Snow White here, just dwarfs.
Oh, will you look at that poor woman?
A B1 deficiency.
Now, how could you ever hope to be the fairest with improper diet?
Improper diet?
No, not meats.
No yogurt. No wheat germ.
But I have nothing left to pay for anything.
You need the Seven Dwarfs Health Food Plan. Do you what?
Just this mirror. That's all I have left.
That's all? Okay, we'll take it. Here. And your health food plan starts with eating these apples.
So the wicked queen wound up with nothing but her own poison apples. But suddenly...
Pardon me. Do you have a pay mirror I can use?
Right over there. Is it a local?
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all?
Snow White is the fairest one, but getting there is half the fun.
Oh, goody, goody, goody. That's me. I'm Snow White.
No. There really is a Snow White? Get ready, boys. Another pigeon. And if you want to stay the fairest, you'll need a lifetime membership in the Seven Dwarfs Health Club.
7 dwarfs? I see only 6. Isn't there a 7th one?
Well, certainly there is. Meet Max. He has the most important job in our whole operation.
Yeah. And boy, it's stuffy in there.
You're watching Boomerang on Boomerang from Cartoon Network.
The city of Townsville is now on Boomerang.
Let's go, ladies! Oh, goody, goody!
And so, once again, the day is saved thanks to the Powerpuff Girls. Weeknights at 10, only on Boomerang.
What time is it?
Time for a new episode of
Adventure Time!
All right, I love you too. Bye.
Lady Rainicorn again?
Yeah, man. She's worried about introducing me to her parents at lunch today. But it might have something to do with the Rainicorn dog wars.
Her parents are probably all full of dog hatred from the war times.
Nah, that could never happen.
Let's hide and burn the house down!
Adventure Time!
a new episode
Monday at 8, 7 Central on Cartoon Network.
Hole in the Wall. Dude, what would happen? Destroy, Build, Destroy. Wednesday night starting at 7:30, 6:30 Central. Only on Cartoon Network.
Listen to Boomerang on Boomerang from Cartoon Network.
And now, here with an unlimited supply of misinformation is Mr. Know-It-All.
Hello, Inquesters out there. Today I shall instruct you on how to cook a turkey's goose. The first step in cooking a turkey is to preheat the oven to 6,000 degrees.
Don't you think that's awfully hot?
Only for the turkey. Now, while the oven is preheating, we go out in search of a turkey. There are many ways of snaring a turkey, the most surefire of which is to shake some paprika on his nose. This not only stops him from taking flight, but clears up the sinuses as well. The second surefire way is to utilize the turkey in the straw trap. This consists of a deep pit covered with a straw mat. We sprinkle turkey seeds on the mat. The turkey comes after the seeds, steps on the mat, and walks off into the forest. Perhaps the turkey does not weigh enough. But the moose does. The third surefire method of catching a turkey is the last and never fails. Mr. Butcher, let me have a turkey, please. And now all that remains is to cook the bird in the preheated oven.
But, Mr. Know-It-All, I still think the oven at 6,000 degrees is too hot.
It couldn't be. I haven't lit it yet. So, taking a match, I walk into the kitchen and...
Well, thank you, Mr. Know-It-All.
You're welcome down there.
Hello out there. Peabody and Sherman here.
I oiled the Wayback Machine like you told me, Mr. Peabody.
And just in time, Sherman, because we have a date with one of America's greatest patriots.
Ponsonby Britt?
No, Sherman. This patriot made a historic ride on the night of April 18th, 1775. And the man in question, Paul Revere. Without any further ado, the Wayback Machine teleported us back to Paul Revere's copper shop. Inside, we found not Mr. Revere, but rather Mrs.
Can I help you?
Why, yes, madam. We should like to speak to your husband.
So would I. He hasn't been inside the shop for 3 days. All he does is sit on that horse in back, waiting for the British to come.
We wasted no time in joining the eager coppersmith.
Don't stand too close, boys. Soon as I see the lanterns, I'm off to warn Lexington.
But, Mr. Revere, your horse.
No time for idle conversation, lad. I've got some riding to do.
But you don't understand.
One if by land, two if by sea, one if by land.
Mr. Revere, I feel it only fair to warn you that unless you change horses, you won't be riding anywhere.
What are you talking about?
You are sitting on a statue.
Say, how about that? I was wondering why he didn't eat much hay.
Mr. Peabody, there's a light in the tower.
Sure enough, Sherman had spotted the signal.
How many lanterns, boy? 1 or 2?
3.
They must be coming both by land and by sea.
Step back. I gotta warn the country. Giddy up, boy. Giddy up.
Mr. Revere, the statue, remember?
Oh, yes. Sure was a quiet horse, though.
I sent Sherman to search the town for another horse.
This hog was the only animal I could find, Mr. Peabody.
Well, you can't expect me to ride that, can you?
You have no alternative.
Why don't I try to start the statue? You never know. It may run.
And with that, Paul Revere begged, pleaded, even tried to bribe his favorite horse.
Yes, ain't no use. I guess the hog'll have to do.
Unfortunately, the hog was as contrary as the statue.
Golly, Mr. Peabody, he won't budge.
And I gotta get to Lexington to warn the people.
Now, what would cause a hog to run? I have it, Mr. Revere. The magic words are hog fat.
Hog fat?
Look at him go!
Yes. No hog wants to be turned into hog fat.
Well, I guess we can go home now that Mr. Revere's on his way.
I'm afraid not, Sherman. You see, Paul Revere just went north. Lexington is south. Well, by now, there were 5 lanterns in the tower, so the situation, as you could see, was desperate. Sherman and I headed for Lexington as fast as we could. And speaking of Lexington, a certain American general, who shall be nameless, was in town spearheading an enlistment drive.
I tell you, we need soldiers.
And Lexington is proud to do its part, General.
Proud? You mean you're proud of one old man and 2 dogs? The dogs we can use, but the old man...
Forgive the intrusion, gentlemen, but we're here to tell you the British are coming.
Oh, did you see him?
No, but we saw the lanterns.
Well, then you mean the lanterns are coming, not the British.
We mean the British are coming.
Oh, I'm sorry, but the only way I'll believe that is when Paul Revere tells me. Now, about those 2 dogs...
But Paul Revere may not get here until it's too late, Mr. Peabody.
He may never get here, Sherman. I had it. Pardon me, General, but I understand you need soldiers.
I sure do.
Well, I don't know whether you're familiar with New England customs, but up here, the only way to get soldiers is to issue the Boston Back Bay battle cry.
I don't think I know it.
Oh, it's quite simple, sir. You merely shout the word suey.
Suey?
Suey. Well, 1 minute later, the hills surrounding Lexington were reverberating with that famous old hog call.
Suey! 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 Suey!
Inside of a quarter of an hour, every hog in the vicinity was thundering down Lexington's main street, and among them was our hog-fat hog, carrying Paul Revere.
The British are coming! The British and the hogs are coming!
Golly, Mr. Peabody, what a brilliant idea.
Yes, wasn't it?
That battle cry was an inspiration. So far, we've signed up 420 men. Oh, I tell you, it was unbelievable. I gave that yell in exactly 60 seconds. We had a line.
Would you call them 60-second men, Mr. Peabody?
Of course not, Sherman. I'd call them Minute Men.
Last time, you remember, our heroes had charged down a secret passageway in the old Bleakley mansion following a 6-foot metal-munching mouse. Then, coming upon a closed door, Bullwinkle had tried to put his ear to it to hear what was going on. And promptly got his head stuck. Suddenly, the door was thrown open and Bullwinkle was pulled into the room. And through the open door, Rocky saw a sight that made him blanch with fright.
Hokey smoke! The room's full of mice, and every one of them is 6 feet high.
In a trice, our heroes were seized and hustled by the enormous rodents into a large hall.
Where do you suppose we're going, Rock?
They must be taking us to their leader. Look!
Yes, there on the wall was a framed portrait.
Our leader, the Big Cheese.
Now, where have I seen that face before?
Didn't there used to be a club on the TV that...
No, that was somebody else.
The ears look familiar, is all.
But just then a curtain parted at the end of the room.
Bullwinkle, it's him!
Him who?
Their leader, the Big Cheese.
Yeah. He sure is a little rat, isn't he?
So, you have fallen into our mousetrap, eh?
That voice. Haven't you heard it somewhere, Bullwinkle?
Well, I haven't been hanging around many rat holes lately.
What are you going to do with us, Mr. Big Cheese?
What do you do with all us mice?
You mean?
Of course. We call exterminator. Oh, Herman!
And the biggest mouse of all lumbered forward, his stainless steel teeth glittering wickedly.
You got it straight, Herman? You sir. Gentlemen, meet Herman the Vermin Exterminator.
But why exterminate us?
Because you might interfere with our big plan.
What big plan is that?
Plan to take over whole U.S. of hay.
What?
And as our boys listened horrified, the Big Cheese outlined the fiendish plan for conquering the entire nation. The key step was the destruction of all television antennas in the country, to be gobbled up by a horde of metal-munching mice.
But why for all that?
Don't you see beauty of plan? Everybody goes to some other country where they got television. Country is left deserted, then we move in.
But that's dirty pool.
There's another kind pool.
Don't worry, Bullwinkle. People aren't going to leave the country just because the TV breaks down.
Silly kid.
And the Big Cheese showed our heroes actual photographs of people standing in long lines at railroad terminals, airports, bus depots.
I just can't believe it, Bullwinkle.
Yeah, they're gone without us.
No, I mean they're deserting their country.
Well, even us rats live sinking ships, you know.
Gee, you can't believe in anything anymore.
Yeah, anything.
Okay, let's go, Herman.
And our heroes trudged out disconsolately, followed by the huge exterminator. But they would have been even more shocked had they been able to remain behind with the Big Cheese, for when they had left the room, he reached up, grabbed hold of his ears, and lifted his head off to reveal... But no.
But yes, Boris Badenov, world's champion of good Nick, at your service.
Well, are these two really planning to do away with all TV?
What's the matter? Weren't you listening a minute ago?
Including this program?
This program is #1 on Kaput Parade.
Oh. Well, be with us next time, if we're still on the air, to see Boris Makes His Move or The Mice Man Cometh.
And now for the cultural part of our program, we bring you Bullwinkle's Corner with that moose of letters, Bullwinkle.
Hello there. Today's poem is from Mother Moose.
Mother Goose.
Goose? Must be a misprint. Anyways, the poem is Little Miss Muffet. Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet.
What's a tuffet?
Hmm?
What's a tuffet?
It's what I'm sitting on, eating her curds and whey. Boy, this stuff is terrible. Along come a spider. You're the spider?
He couldn't make it.
But you ain't scary. You're supposed to scare me.
Okay, fellas, up.
Take two. Along come a spider and sat down beside her and... Ah! A spider! A spider!
Hey!
Hey, Rock.
Hey, Miss Muffet, your curds and whey are on your head.
Let me tell you something. I'd rather wear 'em than eat 'em.
Well, last time, you remember, we learned the details of the fiendish plot of the metal-munching mice to take over the entire USA.
It's easy. We just get rid of television. Then everybody leaves country in disgust. It's our scorched air policy.
We also learned that the Big Cheese, leader of all the mice, is none other than that scurvy scoundrel, Boris Badenov.
The biggest rat of all.
And what of our heroes?
Yo, what?
Captured by the mice, they have been turned over to the tender mercies of Herman the Vermin Exterminator.
You gotta think of a way out of this mess, Rocky.
I can't, Bullwinkle. I'm too low in my mind.
Oh, say not so, Rocket. How come?
Well, just look at these pictures the Big Cheese gave us. His plan is working. People are leaving the country in droves.
Some of them in trains, too.
Oh, Bullwinkle, look there in the courtyard.
Why, it's that giant mousetrap we built.
Yeah, and I got a hunch it's going to be used pretty soon.
Well, you know the old saying, build a better mousetrap. And you are liable to wind up in it.
Funny thing about these pictures, Rock.
What's that, Bullwinkle?
I can't read the names on any of them.
Bullwinkle, you're right. That's not even English.
Well, that's good. I thought my eye pans were going back on me.
Those pictures weren't taken in America. People aren't leaving the country. country.
Nobody but us, huh?
We gotta figure a way out of this, Bullwinkle.
Like I said some time back. But how?
And indeed, it seemed difficult, for at that moment, Herman the Vermin Exterminator lumbered forward to spring the trap.
Well, goodbye, old pal. We've sure had some swell adventures together.
Yeah. I wonder how this one will come out after we're gone.
But amazingly enough, just as Herman reached forward, he slowed and stopped.
Bullwinkle, he's run down.
In a twinkling, the boys had freed themselves from their bonds.
No, let's get out of here.
But though our boys didn't know it, they were under observation from a high window by the big cheese himself, Boris Baranov.
Quick, Natasha, they're loose.
What happened to Herman, darling?
You didn't wind him tight enough, honey bun. Quick, we must catch them.
And Boris and Natasha dashed into an adjoining room full of 6-foot mice and began to wind them up. And so as the boys started out of the courtyard...
Uh-oh, Rock. We got company.
And I don't think he's gonna run down.
As the huge creature grabbed at him, Bullwinkle barely escaped, but Rocky wasn't so lucky.
Golly, he's got me cornered.
It looked bad for our hero, but Bullwinkle's flight had jogged a little more motion out of Herman the Vermin Exterminator, for he reached forward and completed springing the trap right in the mouse's tail.
Raskolnikov, squirrel has charmed life, Natasha. Why don't we have luck like that?
Maybe he has a good fairy, darling.
Good fairy, good fairy. Why is that never bad fairy?
Well, our boys made it to the back gate and were just a few steps from freedom when Rocky suddenly stopped short.
Pray tell, why are you stopping short, Rocky?
You ever try to stop long?
But we're almost there.
Bullwinkle, we're not running away.
We're not?
No.
Then how come I'm all out of breath?
Well, you go on if you want to, Bullwinkle, but I'm going back to Bleakley Mansion.
Okay, Rock, anything you say.
Gee, you're brave, Bullwinkle.
Yeah, I bet I'm the bravest coward in these parts.
And peering out of his tower window, Boris could hardly believe his eyes.
Look, Natasha, the flies are coming back into the spider web, all by themselves. Oh, Natasha, maybe there is bad fairy after all.
Well, is there? We'll find out next time in Big Cheese Boris, or I'd Rather Be Rat.
Me out to the ball game. Take me out to the...
Hi, Dad. Well, where you going?
Baseball park, son.
Gonna see a game?
No, I'm donating this bag to the team. Seems that during the game yesterday, some scallywag stole second base and...
Pop, you don't understand.
Disgraceful act.
But, Dad, when a player steals second...
I also thought I'd hang this out in the bleachers. Honesty is the best policy. You like it?
Oh, it's keen, Dad. But about second base...
Speaking of honesty is the best policy, have I ever related the fable of the frogs and the beaver?
You see, Dad, a man on first is allowed to run to second when he...
Once upon a time, there was a lake. Now, this lake was set so deep in the forest that it was virtually uninhabited, which meant that no one lived there. Well, practically no one. For you see, a beaver had come across this lovely spot and built a resort home right on the shore. Now, our fable could have ended right there, and everything would have been lovey-dovey, if it weren't for two frogs that happened to come along. Their names, Romeo and Julius.
That is what I call gracious living.
Gracious, yes.
How comes that beavers has always got the easy life?
Yeah. Why do us frogs always have to live on a lily pad?
Julius, if that is your name, let us take this home away from yon beaver.
Romeo had a plan. It was both ingenious and colorful.
Hey, Romeo, what's the big idea?
You are sick. That's right, Beaver. My friend here is in dire distress.
Got a frog in my throat.
No, you have not. You got the pox.
Chicken pox? Frog pox.
And with that, Julius went into a frenzied exhibition of a frog with the 7-year itch. Of course, the unsuspecting beaver was scared out of his wits, not to mention the house. Well, sir, inside of 1 week, the once charming little retreat was turned into a shambles.
Now, the runner on first has to keep his eye on the catcher, Dad.
That little beaver, though, was as industrious as they come. He got as far away from the frogs as he could and erected a small but comfortable cabin. However, the cabin wasn't far enough away from those frogs.
That is what I call rustic living.
Gracious, yes. I mean rustic, yes.
I like this place much better than the joint we're in now.
Once more, the clever frog launched a plan.
That frog, he's busting my pipe.
That beaver happens to be the famous forest ranger, Smokey the Frog. He's just putting a fire out.
Oh, my goodness. I suppose he'll want to confiscate my matches, too, huh?
Oh, you should never say the word matches. It sends Smokey into a veritable rage. Makes him mad, too.
The beaver took off again, leaving the frog his second place.
Did you say second base?
Second place. This time, it took the frogs only 3 days to demolish their new abode. And although 3 days isn't much time, it was all the beaver required to construct a rambling hacienda right beside a roaring river.
Now, that's what I call hacienda living. Hey, ain't you gonna say hacienda, yes?
I can't speak Spanish.
Oh. Well, seeing as how our present premises is a shambles, let us swindle our way into this place.
You have to give the frog credit. He had an unlimited supply of plans. But so did the beaver.
Now, look, I put the fire out, and I've given myself a case of frog pox, so it's no use trying to intimidate me any further.
Oh, we wouldn't intimidate you for the world, beaver.
Besides, I didn't build this house for myself. Who did you build it for? You.
The frogs were shocked, but not so shocked that they didn't move in and make themselves at home. As for the beaver, this was all part of a cunning scheme in which he'd be free of the frogs once and for all, because, you see, haciendas are made of dry mud. And you know what happens to dry mud when it's hit by rain. It becomes wet mud. Yes, sir, inside of Nothing Flat, that hacienda slid into the roaring river. And as for the frogs inside it, they were carried off by the current, never to be seen again. At least not on this show. And that's why I always say honesty is the best policy.
You could also say grime does not pay.
Yeah, I could, but I won't. Well, bye-bye, son. I've got to deliver this second base.
Well, there goes Pop. Generous as they come. Oh, my gosh. I just happened to think. Supposing there's a game today and somebody steals home.
You're watching Boomerang on Boomerang from Cartoon Network.
The city of Townsville is now on Boomerang.
Let's go, ladies! Yeah! Oh, goody, goody!
And so, once again, the day is saved thanks to the Powerpuff Girls. Weeknights at 10, only on Boomerang.
Dude, what would happen if one of us was a bully?
Yeah, and you bullied one of us. We decided to do a bully situation and figure out what would be the best thing to do about it.
I played the bully and hated it. What's going on, little guy? It felt awful. Where you been? You haven't grown at all?
I was the one getting bullied, and that didn't feel so good either.
And I was just watching it all go down.
Get out of here.
I had to do something, and the best thing to do is to get an adult.
That's enough. That's enough. Back up, Jackson. Together, we can make a difference. Stop bullying. Speak up.
Go to stopbullyingSpeakUp.com to find out more.
Start your Saturday mornings off with a bang. Find the newest episodes of your favorite action hits. Starting with Pokemon DP, Sino League Victors.
Sounds like a real blast.
Beyblade Metal Fusion.
How cool is that?
Bakugan Gundalian Invaders.
Let's go.
Hot Wheels Battle Force 5.
Yeah!
And Super Hero Squad.
Jackpot!
Saturday mornings, starting at 6:30, 5:30 Central, only on Cartoon Network.
Boomerang on Boomerang from Cartoon Network.
And now for the uninformed, here's the biggest informer of them all, Mr. Know-It-All.
Greetings, brain builder-uppers. Today's subject is swimming can be fun and wet. Now, in order to swim, one must have a pool, and in order to have a pool, one must have a hole. Like this one here. After lining the hole with cement, fill it with H2O's, which is soft water. We are now ready for our fun. There are many ways of entering the pool, but the best way is via the diving board. Of course, it does help if you put the board over the pool. Once in the water, there are many things you can do, like swimming. Now, for all you neophytes, those are swimmers made out of rubber, it is a good idea to start with the dog paddle. Yeah, chewed the paddle up a little, didn't you? The second most widely used stroke is the butterfly. Before entering the water, wave the arms like a butterfly and...
What do you know? An antlered fire-winged goofus.
Put me down.
A talking antlered fire-winged goofus.
Oh, well. Even if you can't swim, just get yourself an old inner tube, put it around your middle, and jump in.
Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All. Mr. Know-It-All?
Hello out there, Peabody once again, and over by the Wayback Machine is my boy, Sherman. Sherman's the one with the glasses.
Hello.
What do you think of China, Sherman?
It breaks awful easy, Mr. Peabody.
I'm referring to China, the country, Sherman. For you see, today we're going back to 400 B.C., where we'll visit with that distinguished philosopher, Confucius. In a trice, the Wayback transported us from my penthouse apartment to the ancient province of Lu. I consulted a street directory and discovered that Confucius resided at 301 Chow Main Street.
That's 301 over there, Mr. Peabody. But look, it's a penny arcade.
Nonetheless, it was also the home of Confucius.
Put a yen in a slot and Confucius gonna give you one of his very famous sayings.
Do you have a yen on you, Sherman?
Sorry, Mr. Peabody.
We don't have any yen, Confucius.
Then can I give you a famous saying? Gotta make a buck, you know.
Look, could we come back later when you're through and have a chat?
Why not? Confucius ends shift at 5:30.
We'll see you then. Sherman and I went to the nearest restaurant. I drank 4 pots of tea, and Sherman consumed 892 fortune cookies. We then returned to the penny arcade, and to our surprise, the place was overrun with police.
All right, break it up. Show's all over. Go home.
Pardon me, officer, but has a crime been committed?
You bet your boots.
Golly, where's Mr. Confucius? And where's his stall?
Sure, that's what we like to know.
You mean Confucius has been kidnapped?
Right. Also stole, kidnapped. Boy, this very crazy modus operandi.
While the police spread a dragnet, Sherman and I thought things over. Over some tea and fortune cookies, naturally. Sherman, that is your 1,000th fortune cookie. Do you want to spoil your dinner?
I can't help it, Mr. Peabody. I like to read the fortunes.
What does that one say?
It says, "Help, I'm being held prisoner on a junk." And it's signed Confucius.
Well, this was obviously a great stroke of fortune cookie.
Where are we going, Mr. Peabody?
We're going to find that junk, Sherman.
Well, where do you look for a junk?
Where else but a junkyard? A moment later, we entered the only junkyard in town, and there, just casting off from the dock, was a sinister-looking junk. Quickly, Sherman, hop aboard. I gonna put you out of the way, Confucius. Then I make million yen.
How so, kidnapper?
Oh, very simple. Confucius say jokes very big in China. When you gone, I start new game.
You have new game?
Right.
What you call new game?
I call knock, knock, who there? Knock, knock, who there? Peabody.
Oh, happy day! It's Honorable Rescue Party.
Unfortunately, the Honorable Rescue Party happened to be standing on a secret trap door. Now, as I was saying before interruption...
Oh, yes, you were talking about a new game.
He tricked us, Mr. Peabody. We're trapped down down here with no way out.
There is always a way out, Sherman. One merely has to look for it. And look for it we did.
No steps, no ladders, no portholes, no nothing.
What have we here?
That's just a box of fish bowls.
Then that's our way out. Step back, Sherman. I'm going to let the river in.
But we'll drown, Mr. Peabody.
No, we won't. Invert the fishbowl, Sherman. Put it over your head. Even if the water should rise above our heads, the fishbowl will contain sufficient air to allow us to float up through the trapdoor. That's the boy. Yes, sirree. Knock-knock game. Brilliant idea.
I agree, but please don't force it off. Confucius getting very wet.
Oh, hey, what's going on around here? How come river up to ankles?
Perhaps the tide come in.
Never come in like this before.
Boat sinking, head for shore.
Oh, no. Police on shore. Let boat sink.
Can you swim?
Swim? What does swim mean?
You better head for shore.
Minutes later, the police had everything under control.
You all right, Confucius? I'm fine, thank you. Good. Then we go to jail and you prefer charges against Genghis Khan.
Well, there they go, Mr. Peabody. But did I hear right? Did he say that the kidnapper was Genghis Khan?
Yes, Sherman, but I'm sure that by the time he's released, his name will be changed.
To what, Mr. Peabody?
To Genghis X-Khan. Let's go have some egg foo young, Sherman.
Well, it seems that our heroes are leaping from the frying pan into the fire, for they are actually returning to Bleakley Mansion, hideout of the dreadful 6-foot metal-munching mechanical mice.
Duty's calling us, Bullwinkle.
I'm a little hard of hearing myself.
High on the roof, the big cheese, alias Boris Badenoff, had already spotted them.
Let's give them old-fashioned Badenoff welcome.
How's that, darling?
We throw flowers.
Throw flowers?
Still in pots, of course.
And the scurvy sneak hurled a large urn down at our friends. Fortunately, the quick-witted squirrel saw it coming.
Bullwinkle. There's a great big flower pot coming down right at your head.
You're a fast thinker, Rock, but you're kind of a slow talker.
However, since the flower pot had struck Bullwinkle squarely on the head, little damage had been done.
I don't know. That pot's never going to be the same again.
In a moment, our heroes found themselves in the kitchen of Bleakley Mansion.
Now to plan our attack, Bullwinkle.
Attack? How are we going to attack a 6-foot mouse that bites through metal?
Well, it looked as if our boys might have the chance to find out, for in the room above them, Boris and Natasha were busy winding up a whole platoon of the monsters.
Got control set, Natasha?
Yes, darling.
Okay, you little nippers, go get them.
And the mechanical mice moved toward the kitchen door. Inside, our heroes were still thinking frantically.
Bullwinkle, we gotta come up with an answer.
I got one.
What is it, Bullwinkle?
Vienna, Austria in 1758.
That's the answer?
Yes.
What's the question?
I don't know. Sure is a keen answer, though.
Not to our problem, it's not.
Oh, that.
How do you beat a metal-munching mechanical mouse?
Easy. I'll just take this iron poker, and I'll walk right up to all of them, and I'll...
You what?
I'll pull back an iron stump.
Close the door, Bullwinkle.
And the moose slammed the kitchen door on the intruder and braced himself against it.
Those monsters will eat anything.
That's it, Bullwinkle. They'll eat anything.
You notice kind of the echo in here?
I'm gonna cook up something special.
Rocky, if you flipped your goggles, they're gonna come busting through that door any minute.
Don't worry, we'll be ready.
And Rocky set to work in the kitchen while Bullwinkle held the door against the attack of the ravenous mechanical mice.
Hurry, Rock, they're munching right through the doors.
Hold on, Bullwinkle. The caramels are almost cool.
Caramels?
They're for the mice.
I always knew you were good-hearted, Rock, but this is ridiculous.
Okay, Bullwinkle, stand aside.
As Bullwinkle stepped back, the 6-foot mice poured into the room. Quickly, Rocky gathered up an armful of caramels, and as the mice crashed after him, began to toss them back at his pursuers, who snapped at them furiously.
Oh, my plan is working.
Yes, the plan had worked. After crunching down on those chewy caramels, the huge mice could no longer open their mouths to bite anything. Powerless to attack our friends, they beat a hasty retreat.
They're going, Bullwinkle. Now let's find out where they came from. What's the matter, Bullwinkle? Can't cut your tongue?
Not cut. Caramels.
Boy, this is sure going to cut down on the dialogue.
In a room not far away, Boris and Natasha were inspecting the mice.
They're ruined, Natasha.
They can't bite anybody, Boris.
Bite? They couldn't even gum anybody.
We will have to overhaul them, darling.
Tot, honeyborn. Plenty more where these came from.
You mean?
Yes. Look there.
Sure enough, far above the house was a... well, good heavens, that's a spaceship.
You were expecting maybe seagulls?
But what...
Time to go now.
But...
Anyway, be with us next time for the Face Rat.
Or of Mice and Menace.
Yes, you do that.
And now for the poetic part of our show, we present Bullwinkle's Corner.
Greetings, culture crowd. Today's poem is an old Greek classic called The Horn. I translate. Little boy blue, come blow your horn. The sheep...
Hold it, hold it.
What?
I forgot my music. Okay, let's go.
That's kind of a big horn, ain't it?
It's a big part.
Oh. Little boy blue, come blow your horn. The sheep's in the meadow. The cow's in the corn.
Boy, that's hard work.
Oh, where is the boy who looks after the sheep?
Don't ask me. I'm a musician myself.
He's under a haystack fast asleep is where, doggone it.
Why'd you call this poem The Horn anyway?
'Cause obviously that's what the little boy blew.